Time is June the 2nd at 12:06 p.m. Having our last lunch in Memphis before we head out overseas here.
This is our docudrama.
That's right.
This is the last lunch.
Hey there, Tom.
The first word I saw when we came up to the airport is terminal.
It doesn't sound good, does it?
No, we did that when we went last summer, you know, to Italy.
This is Perkins, if you're curious where we're having our meal at. We're leaving here shortly. This is Detroit, waiting to go on to Amsterdam. Welcome to Amsterdam. It's now 1:50 a.m. Detroit time. 8 o'clock in the morning, wherever we are. Hey there. Purchase our tickets for the day return to the Central Station, downtown Amsterdam. Heading there shortly. Here's more of the inside of the Amsterdam airport if you're curious where we are. 8:45 a.m. Amsterdam time, about 1 in the morning, Memphis, Tennessee time. We're on the tram going downtown, although we're sitting still at the moment. Some technical difficulties someplace. Excited passengers. Nice little movement. The other one's moving.
That's the smooth train. That's the cruise over there.
Still here.
Drivers.
Okay, we'll go back this way.
We got off one stop too far, so we're going to back up and walk over there. It's breezy all of a sudden over here. Just came down past the flea market. Lots of interesting psychedelic clothes over here. There's Joe and GK. Half awake, I think. This is Tom Durham here by his sign. Who is her?
Yeah, on the back it says nowhere.
Just stopped over here for a snack. Dutch Bakery. We all went Dutch Treat, by the way, too. Here. It's about 10:30 a.m. in the morning, Wednesday morning, here in Amsterdam. And Betty's staring at something.
Looking at the window boxes. Communicating probably with people inside.
Now it's been delivered. Hear the bell sounding now. And for those who are interested, we even have this here waiting for us. Vicky says, oh no.
There's some places up in here to eat. There's like this restaurant, but it's still not open yet.
Hotel de l'Europe. All the awnings on the windows here.
Europe Day.
Well, there's a strip shop. Just finished lunch, getting on the boat now for our boat down the canals of Amsterdam.
We were supposed to take a ride. The water was up somehow.
We'll be taking off in a few minutes now. 12:30 boat ride.
That's all blonde ladies. Hey, folks, still watching. You're so dusty when you use the cellular phones. She was waiting for your call, probably. With Becky? Yeah. And I was looking at the so because
Gibt es Deutschsprachige an Bord? Ja. Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren. Herzlich willkommen an Bord. Der Kapitän heißt Klaas, ich heiße Jana und ich werde Ihre Reisebegleiterin sein. Est-ce qu'il y a des gens ici qui seulement parlent français? Non? Pas de français ici? Ok. Amsterdam. Its owner is Freddie Heineken of the famous beer brand. In een De Amstel is de enige natuurlijke waterweg van Amsterdam. Dat betekent dat official. The beginning of the 13th century Amsterdam was still a small fishing village. It was called Amsterdam in those days after the dam that was built inside the river Amstel. This dam became finally Dam Square, where you find the Royal Palace these days.
Bridges in one line.
Und jetzt können Sie das Schiff besuchen. Ja, dan bekijken we nu de achterkant van het schip nog eens wat beter, ook wel de spiegel genoemd. Hier bevond zich vroeger de hut van de kapitein. En het is prachtig versierd. Je kan zeggen hoe mooier de versieringen, hoe rijker de kapitein was. En hier ziet u daar de god van de zee, Neptunus, links de god van de handel, Mercurius.
That's not the way they did the windows. They're not square windows.
Famous leaning houses of Amsterdam.
No, they don't.
So our airplane will take us on to Athens from Amsterdam. About to load any minute now. It's about 6:45 p.m. Anxious passengers ready to get on the plane and go back to sleep.
Zo spoedig mogelijk aan boord via gate
There's
1.
Betty. There's Tom.
Attention please.
About 12:30 p.m. on June the 4th, we've arrived successfully at Athens, Greece, loading our things onto the bus, taking us away from the airport to our hotel destination. Looking at our window from the Novotel in Athens, Greece, just some of our neighbors across the way. Lots of balconies and TV antennas out through there. Open the curtain, you'll hear the sound.
Open the window, see all the curtain. The juice.
in the Greek Synagogy Evreon, the synagogue of the Hebrews. And we know that every Sabbath, the Apostle Paul, while he was in Corinth, where did he do every Sabbath? He went shopping. At Sears, he didn't go shopping. Every Sabbath, Samothraki to the city of Neapolis. Today we call it Kavala. And from Neapolis, he established a church there. He preached to the Philippian jailer, broke, and he was ready to go. Blue color, very nice. The island.
Now the Corinthian Canal, about 4 miles long. Got a ways down there. Ship going through the canal at this moment.
So Nero tried to build one. I can see that's pretty deep.
Yeah. Finally built in 1892 by the same group that built the Suez Canal. Corinthian Canal. In the courtyard outside the museum, let's receive his head.
I put together an Ileene, that's got synagogy, and Epsilon Beta Rho, it's the word Hebrews, Hebrews. Hebrews. When they had a disease, they would make it out of clay, ceramics. They would bring it to the temple of Artemis as an offering, and they would pray, please heal us from our disease. For example, brains of men that had a disease. Children that were born here, popular men, very important men. Okay? From the north. The other one that we have is the Ionic. And today I'll take you on the top of the Acropolis where we have the beautiful Temple of Victory with Ionic pillars. And we will also see another temple, the Erection, that they had people watching, then they send messengers, they tell people, to be careful, to be ready, to have an attack from the enemy that was coming from the Aegean Sea. Let's go now and see the archaeological site of the city of Corinth.
Okay, still working.
Yes,
Just keep watching your step all along.
it outside and it looked very beautiful. 36 pillars. Now only 7 pillars are still remaining of the Doric style. We saw the Doric, the oldest one, and you see the rest of the pit that God will be with them as they travel, and they will continue their journey. Also from the Greek period of time, we have the spring of Pyrene, later changed to Roman baths that we will see.
There's Daddy worshiping in the Temple of Apollo. They're actually resting, not worshiping.
That's a long hike up here.
Oh, your camera still works?
It's still working, at least it says it's working.
We had a friend following behind there, a dog.
Yeah, we got stepped on a while ago, didn't we?
Hey, boy. Here, boy. Come on. Here, right here.
There's the sea.
That's my friend. He was.
The Bible. God, in ways contrary to the law. Which law? The Jewish law, the Mosaic law. Well, he was a Roman governor. Listen what he had to say. Just as Paul was about to speak, Gallio said to the Jews, if you Jews were making a complaint about some misbehavior or a serious crime, it would be reasonable for me to listen to you. But
Yeah, I think we always have to get that wall pretty wall back there.
We've been public baths here and fountains from St. Louis, Missouri.
All the way to the harbor. Go ahead and follow him down there. We'll see that.
Devin Gosnell from Memphis, Tennessee. pool here with fountains.
Marble, you see the marble there, where the steps are? And you see the original marble floors, where the gentleman with the video is there? Those are the original marble floors. But they were decorated this, the Roman bath. They had special seats for the aristocratic family, right there. And the noble family. Here they had the private family. They had another floor, right at the top. And you hear the water still running, 2,000 years. It goes from Acropolis through the hill. Here then is water is the little village that you see. You see frescoes inside here from that period of time. They had nothing.
Inside the small baths by the fountain again.
To show
Public
pipes everywhere,
toilets.
you know, all over the city. The Romans were very famous for their excellent water system.
Get pictures of somebody sit there.
Try it out there, Stephen. Get your picture. Lunch in downtown Corinth.
Yeah, but
Had some baked chicken, French fries. I think ice cream is coming soon.
But there's certain ways you hold it. The cabinet, the cabinet, you know, the thing, the shaft. No, I'm expecting to go again because I think we're going to exercise that one out.
Looking down the path to see the old Erasmus inscription, or not Erasmus, but Erastus inscription that appears in Corinth, over the city treasurer.
This was another street that went down to the harbor. You know, we were on one earlier. Remember that main street we went out on? There was another in here, kind of like two streets that went down into the harbor area, tuck in way. And it was walled on each side and all that. And when Erastus apparently was here in Treasure City, whatever, he came up with the funds and was honored for adding a big courtyard area or something of that nature. Kind of about the best I can figure that out. First century. Yeah, I mean, most feel this is the Erastus Paul talked about. He was the treasure of the city, and he made reference to him.
So this was a theater here?
Yeah, well, we'll see it back up on the other side, but there was a kind of a public, in fact, there was a theater.
We'll take about an hour and 15 minutes to go there in Athens, and so I want you to relax and rest a little bit. I will be telling you.
Driving back in Athens, looking straight ahead, you can see the Acropolis, the Parthenon in the center of the picture there. Be there closer in just a few minutes. Lovely road here. Now we're ascending the Acropolis here in Athens, Greece.
Then I thought, well, I'll never do that. Huh?
That's good.
We have the oldest amphitheater in the world. It is called the Amphitheater of Dionysus. That's where the first drama of Aeschylus and Euripides, the famous comedies of Aristophanes, took place. The Amphitheater of Dionysus. As you see it from the top of the Acropolis, it's a Greek amphitheater. This is Roman, the first century. The other one is 6th century before Christ. Now the best preserved amphitheater in the world, it is south of Corinth. It's called the Amphitheater of Epidavros. Over there, you know, you can...
At the Acropolis, looking back over the city of Athens.
That's the Agora.
Looking back towards the Agora at the base of the hill. Let's look up and see the Parthenon area over to the right here.
Y'all want to hear Dino will give some explanation. He's waiting over here.
Those are very important ruins for Christians. And we're going to see it better when we go on that hill. But the ruins there on the right side, this is the Agora, the marketplace. That's where Paul came for the first time in Athens, down there. Spoke with the Stoics and the Epicureans. Huh? That's where Christianity first started. Then you see a beautiful small temple. Huh? This temple was built the same period of time that the Parthenon was built. Huh? 500 years before Christ, called Thision, T-H-E-S-S-I-O-N.
Propylea is what they call that area. Entrance to the holy place.
Now,
The sound you hear is the sound of the Greek flag waving. Give you a panorama of the whole city of Athens from this viewpoint here.
Come closer here, you can have a better view.
Temple of Zeus or Jupiter down below. Hadrian's Arch here, built in the 2nd century AD. Recthean temple built to honor king or god Poseidon of the sea. Built around the 6th century BC. Here goes our group down to Mars Hill at this time. Saying goodbye to the Parthenon. Looking back down towards Mars Hill. Colonnade leading up to the Acropolis.
He spent his time in the marketplace beneath Mars Hill. And then they heard what he had to say and they said, hey, want to hear what you have to say more? So they brought him on the top of this hill, where was the Supreme Court of Athens, called Areospagos. Even today, the Supreme Court of Athens, called Areospagos, the same way. That one of the famous judges of the courthouse, his name was Dionysius the Areopagite, and Ileene by name Damaris, and many other people follow the truth. It seems like Athenians rather philosophize than accepting the truth. Huh? They couldn't accept that a Jew named Jesus was resurrected from the dead. That's why they mocked. The Bible says they sneered, you know, when they heard about the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Here is Paul's sermon written in Corinth. I can read to you the first 5 lines. These are the words, exactly the words that Paul used. I'm reading from the very beginning. Σταθείς δε ο Παύλος εν μέσω του Αρίου ως δυσιμοδενεστέρους ημάς θεωρώ, διερχόμενος γάρ και αναθεωρών τα σεβάσματα ημών, εύρων και βωμό, ενώ επεγέγραπτο το αγνώστο Θεό. In the 5th line, right in the middle, what does it say? Unknown God. They had an altar dedicated to the unknown God. There might be a God we do not know. Let's worship him. So he's going to get angry with us. They were very religious.
We shall assemble at the throne hearts into his presence. We bring an offering of and honor and dominion unto the Lamb, unto the King. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah. We sing the song of the redeemed. One more time. We shall.
Now on the top of Mars Hill. So we'll climb down carefully. Some stay down below because of the slippery marble there.
See, when we got our independence, we wanted a king, but we didn't have a king with royal blood, so we asked the Germans to send us a king. The first king of Greece was Otto, a Bavarian. His wife was Amalia. We named this avenue after Amalia, the first queen of Greece. On the left side, you see the first Greek evangelical church. It's like Presbyterian. It's a minority of evangelicals here, on the left side. On the right side, you see Hadrian's Arch of the Roman Emperor, Hadrian. He built the monument of the unknown soldier. Those guards are called choliades, and they perform their military duties. They're ready to change the guard now. You're very lucky. I didn't expect that.
I planned that too.
Every Greek man has to serve in the Greek army for 2 years. Academy. On the pediment right in front, you see under the flag, you see the 12 Olympian gods. Right in the middle, you see Zeus, the chief of the 12 Olympian gods. So once again, on the left side, Athena, the goddess of wisdom. On the right side, Apollo, the god of music, of melody, of sun and light. In order to be a member of the academy, you must have be an outside personality, a great politician, great building. Here it's only the administration offices. Outside of Athens, we have the university city with, they left Iraq, you know, Saddam Hussein forces, and they came to Greece. On the right side, we have the National Library. So 3 new... The yellow, see? It's neon, you know, with lights at night. Everybody this is, we build our own tapestry, you know. And that's what we build. That's where the people translate. You see where the captains are? You know, while we're preaching.
Generally use sound booth. Sound booth.
That's where we have our computers there.
There's simultaneous translation to 4 different languages while Dino preaches.
This is where our library is. That's my office right there.
Is this where the university is also?
No, Harding University. It's outside of Athens.
We're now getting on the bus. Here's
Oh, yes, yes.
kind of anxious for a while there.
Not a bit. I thought I was going to get to Corinth and see it again.
Extra day in Greece, right.
That's right.
Well, leaving Novo Hotel. Getting back on the bus. Here again is our neighborhood. This morning very pleasant. Temperature, a little breeze. GK is still with us.
I don't. It looks like Columbus, but it's not. I see it. See the leaves or something. I saw a lot of them yesterday,
They
much
were
larger.
really full down there around the park and stuff. That was beautiful.
Joel. Evan, Ann, and Joel.
No.
Welcome to Israel. My name is Jarius, J-E-R-I-E-S. Jarius. I'm from Nazareth. My friend, his name is Nasri. He's from Jerusalem. So we'll be with you the whole week. Before we start, small gift from our company, Guiding Star in Jerusalem. The map of the country of Israel with the 4 biggest cities at the back of this map, so you can follow me. With the Mediterranean climate, a climate which is almost the founder of the Danish organization, Theodor Herzl, 1908, a modern city. If Tel Aviv is a modern city, there should be old city in this area, and the old city in this area is called Jaffa.
It's Mediterranean Sea from our bus. We're heading north now, going over to Caesarea.
Yeah, the electrical power station is right, is situated right. So he named it, this one he named it after Augustus Caesar. Caesarea, the city for Augustus Caesar. The same like Sebastian. And each people, they left their marks, their traces in the city. In history, actually it started as a small Phoenician harbor, and he built a huge harbor in this area. It was the second harbor started in Caesarea, and Hadrian oppressed that revolt in the year 135.
Of the pillar that contained the name of Pontius Pilate. Going now to visit the theater built by Herod the Great.
The limestone from Galilee and the sandstone from this area. Remember that the Mediterranean Sea, 100,000 years ago, it used to cover the whole beaches, the whole shore, and it used to compress the sand. And by that, of course, it was the Greeks who invented the theater, and they use it for their cult. Like when they worshipped the god of rain in Athens, they used to walk in huge processions praying for the god of rain. They seek natural hill where they sat down around that natural hill, and the priests, they led the crowd in the hymns and the songs, praying for the God, and their prayer for the God of rain to bring rain on them. The Romans, they had invented the most important invention in the civil engineering. It was the invention of the arch. So that natural hill, the Romans, they can put it inside their cities as artificial hill built of many arches, and they call it stadium. So the Roman, they're the one who invented the stadium. Now in the upper entrance to the theater in the stadium, we found many empty spaces like this. These empty spaces function for the Roman soldiers. It's the place where they puke. Yeah, we still use this theater till today. If you like to have a seat, soldiers who stayed in this city, it was continuous days a year, and almost the show was the same. They had to see the same show tens of times. Now you see down the broken marble, that's authentic. That's the only authentic marble, the broken one down below. In this first part of the stage, it's the place where sat down the officers and the most important people who attended the performance. Over there, the governor, if he was here, he sat down, he was there. The more you go higher, it's for ordinary people. This stadium could accommodate about 4,000 spectators. 4,000 spectators. Now, during the Byzantine period, this phenomena.
Be there in a second.
You go under there? Yeah.
Is that the actor's tunnel?
Yes.
Act.
The actor down the actor's tunnel beneath Herod's Stadium, or Herod's theater, sorry.
Real big down underneath here. Real large.
Amazing. Of course, what Vicky's most interested in herself is what is beyond the theater, which is the sea out there, the ocean, the beach.
Right. Well, there's a lot easier than that stuff yesterday.
It was built by the Crusaders. This is the moat around the fortress area, still at the old city of Caesarea.
So the Crusaders, they conquered this city from the Arabs. The year 1101 AD, around the year 1101 AD, and Crusader fortification. We're not sure that it was the Crusader who built the whole fortification, or simply the Crusader had inherited a perfect Arabic city and they only added these slopes. Why they added these slopes? The best way to conquer the city through the moat. They fill up this moat with filling like soil rubble, and they bring a ladder, and they climb the ladder and they jump on the walls, and by that enter the city. Now, if you have this slope, if you want to stick the ladder to the wall or the tower, it will be far. There will be distance from the edge, from the top of the ladder to the walls of the city. So for that reason, they build it this way, these slopes. It functions for that top, for the enemies, and the four burning points of them. So suppose the enemies, they could destroy this gate, they could make break through this gate, then they have to face the same thing in another gate. This is the reason we call it double gate. They have the same system here, double twice. No chance for the enemy to make their breakthrough from what we made or Herod the Great. It was reused by the Crusaders, by the Mamluks, by the Turks, by the British, by the local people. The pillars of Herod the Great will see everywhere in this country. So to see this harbor and the temple.
If you missed the dialogue earlier, the tour guide was saying that the Crusaders used many of Herod the Great's pillars when they built this fortress city here in the 12th century.
The temple, which was built by Herod the Great, according to Josephus, he dedicated that temple for the Emperor Augustus. It was built on the top of that podium. The real problem that the water kept flooding here, kept coming from the seaside. By that they knew that this was area of the harbor. In Herod time, the boats, it reached till here. Now, during the Arabic period, 7th century, this harbor was sealed. and they left this harbor and they built their houses on the top of the quay and the pier of the harbor. So for that reason, when they excavated the Arabic period, they found out that a lot of water under beneath the houses, which was discovered. See where the people are standing on the top? Suddenly that church collapsed. The Crusaders, they didn't know that they were building their church on the top of the stores of King Herod the Great. The huge stores for the harbor of Herod the Great. This was an inner harbor, exactly as described in Josephus. We'll see the outer one and we'll see the wave breaker, just to give you an idea about the dimension of this harbor.
Here's the inner harbor of Herod the Great's ancient Caesarea. Boats would come down as far as this area through here. Walk over now and see the outer harbor.
Y'all come down this way a minute, let me show you something. Three mounds, just three big mounds. They thought there were vaults under here that would supply, that were used for the supplies for the Roman legion, and now finding more of it's Byzantine than anything else. Right down here was a Byzantine church, and they used the Roman mosaic floor underneath it. And you can tell that the floor doesn't match the wall because the previous left a really nice mosaic floor and added the Byzantine church to it. And then you've got some wonderful inscriptions. Probably the greatest one is right over here. It's covered up. I assume at some point they'll uncover it. It's really, really late Roman. It was probably 4th century, and it quotes Romans 13:3 by letter, and it was in uncials, which is the earliest Greek, which is apparently they're guessing that it may have been in part of the like customs house or in the port of the city, something like that. Romans 13:3 says, if you do good, you have no reason to fear the authorities. And which is really interesting that here, 300 years after Paul was here and tried by the Romans, who thought he was a nobody, the somebodies weren't quoted. The nobody was on the city streets, 300 years later. And that there's a big, large medallion, just like this one, large, about twice the size of this one, right over here. This is a Greek inscription, also in uncials, that has to do with the archives. They had an archives or records. In fact, there's another one back over there somewhere too. I can't see it from here. Notice 4 levels. You can almost see 3 levels of mosaic. One here, another one right there. So this one here, the top one, and one below it. They just redid it. Add another 6-7 inches. This was the sidewalk of the main roadway here. There were 700 pillars from the theater that we just visited. See the back of the theater? That's the back of the theater there, all the way to the Temple of Augustus, which is right here behind you. This was the main roadway. It was covered. These pillars were held covering. In between this pillar and the one over there was the main flagstone Roman pavement. And I assume they're going to uncover all this and open it up.
There is no report.
Yeah, wiping everything, and then the bones were taken and buried somewhere else. Very long for acquiring. Nowadays, well, yeah, but nowadays even they want to stop any digging.
Same site. Here's a Byzantine mosaic here in the floor, all in the old Greek uncial characters. And back towards the sea was the area we just have come from. Here's the aqueduct built by Herod the Great to bring water 7 miles to the north from Mount Carmel down to the city just joining aqueduct right next to it. Here you can see the two side by side. And look at those places now. Mediterranean Sea. Lots of nice beaches. It's very pleasant today. Slight breeze. Very nice.
To make you love us because you're not here. We're going to do this dedicated just to Mickey. We are at the site of Caesarea with the ruins, and we just went down and got our feet all full of sand.
Even Don touched the water with his fingers.
Touched the Mediterranean, and behind Don are the aqueducts built to supply the city of Caesarea with water. So we're getting very dirty and having a good time and wishing you were here.
Amen.
Named after the Philistines. And remember, it's very important. The Palestinians today, they have nothing to do with it. But recently, they are improving the caramel wine. So the caramel wine, its produced wine is about 300 feet above sea level started. Baal and Ashdod. And so the princess, she wants privilege for her gods on the top of Mount Carmel. Prophet Elijah, he represented God, the only God that Israel should worship. God who liberated them from slavery, who brought them out of Egypt. The God of Abraham. Send the fire which will burn the sacrifice. So they started first and they start praying, they brought sacrifice and they start praying. Nothing had happened. Elijah started mocking them, try louder. Maybe your God is not listening, maybe he's not there, maybe he went to the WC. Then it came Elijah's turn.
Mountain pass by Mount Carmel. At the back of the bus, it bumps a little bit more than towards the front.
This is the valley of Jezreel, named after the famous city which was built by King Ahab, his wicked princess, Jezebel. The Kishon River is here, to the left. There should be water here. No, it is here. The Kishon River. We'll pass it or here. Here, this is the Kishon River, here. Yeah, but it could be that.
See for the first time on this Friday evening. We'll see it again tomorrow in daylight. Good morning from Tiberias, Israel. It's about 6:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning. Looking outside our 5th floor hotel balcony. This is the hillside just to the west of us. I'll do a panoramic scene here and show what's more of the city of Tiberias. Ancient as well as modern city of Tiberias. A few cars away from the Sabbath. Now this side is the Sea of Galilee. Right behind the Caesar Hotel. We'll go down in a few minutes after breakfast and take a boat ride on the sea. Off the bus to go to the anchorage place to ride the boat. Bougainvillea near here. Now it's about 7:30 a.m. in the morning. Already bright and very sunny. Lovely sparkle on the sea in front of us. Morning.
So the first name Sea of Galilee, because all the area to the left, Galilee. The region is Galilee. Another biblical name, the Sea of Gennesaret, because the northern shores. Jesus came from Nazareth, he walked through that valley, which is behind that cliff, the Valley of the Dawn, Wadi al-Hamam. So, as I said, our situation right now is 207 meters below sea level, which makes it 630 feet, and the dam and Mount Campbell River.
According to the gospel, they obeyed. The waves calmed down, much like it is right now. Very calm. On the word of Jesus. Now, if you put yourself in the disciples' place, I don't know which is more scary. Being almost sure you're going to go down and sink, or all of a sudden having someone stand up and command the waters to be still, and the waters obey. That would be pretty scary too. And the disciples were this quite a while by that time. They thought they knew him, but that experience evoked a question that I think lies at the heart of the Gospels. Who is this man that even the wind and the sea obey him? The wind and the sea are at his beck and call. Who is this? That's a key question. Herod wondered who this baby was when wise men came from far away to bring him gifts. Now, the Gospels aren't intended to hide who he is. The claim occurs early at the baptism of Jesus. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. But yet, throughout the Gospels, there is kind of a secrecy about it because Jesus doesn't want that claim to be misunderstood or embraced in the wrong way, such as it was at the feeding of the 5,000 when people said, surely this is the prophet who is to come, and they went and tried to make him king by force. Oftentimes that claim, that messianic claim, was misunderstood, And Jesus didn't want it to be spread on a basis that it would be misunderstood. But still, that question occurs.
St. Peter, he used a small individual net like this one to catch 153 fishes with a small net like this is miracle. Remember, there were many kinds of nets, like today. There was the big nets, which was used by more than one fisherman. By those big nets, it's very easy to catch 153 fishes, but a small net like this, it's very difficult. Actually, if he catch one fish, it will be a miracle.
He's dressed for
two reasons. He's not St. Peter. And St. Peter, when he caught the 153 fishes, he was naked. So he cannot demonstrate that. So the fish here is the tilapia fish or catfish. Catfish is considered to be unclean food because it has no scales. So no lunch today. Try the right side.
Try the other side.
But really, this is the method. This is the method of fishing in Jesus' time.
When we get through here, we're going up to Elboon, the school where I work, and a lot of times early in the morning, Bashar and I would come down here and fish. And when we go over to the east side, usually it's a bit firmer in the morning. You could wade out a long ways. You got the long 50-foot nets, and you pull them in. That's what we use, and we could catch 100, in a couple of tries, and then go back up to school and go to work.
Sorry, no lunch today.
Gotta keep that mind sharp. Hello, Don.
Morning. This is Magdala to the left, where Mary was from. And Brian's shoulder right here. This direction is the Golden Heights, also the direction of the Gerasenes, where Jesus met the Gerasene demoniac. A little bit hazy.
You can almost see a ghostly figure.
I think so, yeah. Kind of eerie.
Walking on the water.
This direction to the north would be Caesarea Philippi. Going a little bit later today. Coming in now to the land. Who said hello? Say hi, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon.
Sorry you couldn't join us.
This is a museum. This is where they have this first century boat. They're trying to work it.
But that other one had
Some little fish down there in the Sea of Galilee.
They have museum, they have school, all in this kibbutz. Kibbutz Ginosar. The name of this kibbutz, Ginosar. But let's see, in Hebrew language, Yam Kinneret means
We're in a city now in northern Galilee. I believe it's El Aboon. Here's the Church of Christ. There's also a Galilee Christian High School. Began here in the early 1960s. Students taking the national exams at this time.
And our students study 3 languages. The mother tongue is Arabic, first language, then the language of the state of Israel, which is Hebrew, and English. Hebrew and English are studied at either intermediate or
This is the chapel of the school. Stepping. The principal is talking now to the group.
In Germany, it's easy because they offer them, full scholarship and they can do some work.
This man here went to Rochester College, worked with Dave Fleer.
Now we start the teaching of...
When we say south, that means desert.
That water you just saw came
water,
piped from the Sea of Galilee.
The source is Sea of Galilee, and the target or the aim, the purpose is to relive the desert. To the left, as I said, is the eastern neighborhood for the city Tzfat. The signs, the coming signs of the Messiah.
That location is the traditional place for the city set on the hill that Jesus talked about in the Gospels.
The most problematic one in the one in Jerusalem, because they sell cheeseburger. In Holy City, they sell unclean food.
Which field of sunflowers there, producing the sunflower.
Lots of water fall down. Tomorrow we'll visit Megiddo. Real problem, environment problem, was discovered in the Sea of Galilee because drying up this lake. The water of this lake continued down, it used to continue down to the Sea of Galilee. And in the water there were many organical materials. It's a lack of that vital material, and that's causing for a real and severe damage in the environment of Sea of Galilee, for the lives like fishes in the Sea of Galilee. So there was a need to reproduce the lake. So they reproduced the lake, but in scales much smaller than the lake used to be. Israel there, they see Israel there, the sea by the Israeli existed there as occupation.
This is
and
Mount
from
Hermon,
time to
the
time
highest
they
mountain
attacked
in
the
Israel,
Israeli
is that
army
right?
over there, and almost every day you hear in the news that Israeli soldiers were killed there. So recently you hear in the news that more voices...
This is Mount Hermon off to the left, which is the main source of the Jordan River, as well as the Sea of Galilee. Israel controls now about 5% of this mountain. The rest would be in Lebanon and Syria. Right here is also the northernmost finger of Galilee, very close to Jordan.
To the left, the Hispania River.
We're now at Tel Dan, one of the northernmost city of Israel. King David's territory was from Dan to Beersheba. Just entered a rest area. Visiting some of the site of the ancient city of Dan in a few minutes, I believe. There's a GK having a good time.
You better believe it.
A very refreshing spot by this Dan Springs. Water beginning up here, then channeling down this way. There's trees on both sides of us. There's a bridge right here, then goes down the other side. This is the entrance to the gate of Dan.
For the Canaanite city there was another gate, very beautiful gate, perfect arch. The first time they see something like this in the whole Middle East, they had discovered an arch made of mud. It was here. City dating to the 18th century, and yesterday I told you that the road that one more than 3,000 feet road stone. If he wanted to say no, he threw the no. Like in majority, very democratic way. Who says that this woman is a sinner, throw her by stone. What he meant, say yes or no. So that was the method of voting, even during the judge time. So all of these things happened around the gate. Like the high places where they offered incense, that called the judges. They sat down here, they discussed important matter. This was the courtyard of the gate. The publicity for the goods, for everything, it took place here. So it was, we call it the link, very important link between the outside world and the inside world. This is the link. And
I think with the water supply and the trees and kind of the park nature of it, you can see why it was a fairly attractive place right here below Mount Hermon. So we're kind of getting at least the northern tip of Israel at that time, and then we'll work our way back down toward the Sea of Galilee.
This is the high place built by Jeroboam to offer sacrifices to other gods.
Darn.
Often describe the Bible as being under a tree as well. Maybe not that particular tree. Nice view of Mount Hermon with the flowers and the weeds there. This is the sacred precinct up higher than where we just have come from. altar.
Huge building. Imagine this thing, the whole thing covered with platform here. They could walk here on the top of these things. And the altars had 4 corners. Many of these altars were discovered in different places in the, even the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom. And the prophet Hezekiah, people, the Israeli, the Jewish people of Israel, he wanted to prevent from them going to Jerusalem to offer sacrifices. And that was against the law. In the Old Testament it's mentioned he built 2 places like this. One in the north, here in Dan, the other in Beit El. You know what does Beit El mean? Steps. That these were the steps to the top of the 4 platform here. So this was the place for these sacrifices, and that was the platform where he put the 2 golden idols, the 2 golden calves.
The wood between the rows of stone there. Solomon himself brought cedars of Lebanon like this down to the Jerusalem temple, which is mostly stone, but there was cedars like this here, perhaps to absorb shock and earthquakes.
Solomon is mentioned, he brought the workers, the Phoenician workers to build the temple. So even their plans of buildings, you can see it in the ruins of the Israeli temples or the Israeli public buildings or city gates.
As you can see, Lebanon and also the border with Syria, where 3 countries come together. Heading now over to Caesarea Philippi. Area over here to the left, we're told, is full of mines. There are occasional yellow signs that says danger because of the minefields over there. Bunker over here for soldiers to be in for a while.
To the left is the border. You see the fence over there which goes up. That's the border. This was Syria. And to the right now you can see the finger of Galilee, strategic place. But the background today to the dispute, it's water. This area is the sources of water for the whole region.
The Golan Heights over here.
For the dispute over this area. In a moment we'll be able to see a castle, a fortress. So history, it repeats itself also here. Answer for this fortress here to the right, the Crusader one.
Here's the Hermon Springs, and to the right, here's Gary printing something with the old printing press.
Read it in the...
Here is in English. And now when Jesus came,
put some muscle in that. This is the grotto to the god Pan. Here he is now called Banias.
Now the myth says that if anyone first disturbed God, Jesus' time in front of this cave was a huge temple here for God Pan, and the temple was dedicated for Augustus Caesar. And here they found also 3 niches, and they find coin. In the coin you can see the temple, the facade of the temple. Now that time here they used to offer animal sacrifices here. Now, in this cave, there is a kind of connection between the water in this cave and the water over there. Now, when they offered sacrifices here, if bloods had appeared over there.
Again, the temple area to the god Pan here at Caesarea Philippi. Niches in the wall for statues. This here shows what the area may have looked like at that time. Back now to Capernaum, you see the valley here in northern Galilee, called the finger between the two rows of hills. Lots of wildflowers right in front of us here.
Back to Tiberias.
Returning now to the Sea of Galilee area.
Jesus had cursed 3 cities. Jesus cursed Chorazin, he cursed Bethsaida, did many miracles, and the people of these 3 cities, they didn't believe in him. So you can see the ruins of Chorazin.
Ruins of Chorazin.
The volcanic or the...
This is the synagogue at Capernaum. 4th century. Came often and preached here in Capernaum. See the benches along the sides.
Actually, it's very easy to know who had built the first century synagogue. It's more built the 5th century synagogue. In the Bible, it's
some of the houses of Capernaum here. We're just looking outside the synagogue door, and then down the street would have been the house of St. Peter's mother-in-law right there. Jesus went to heal Peter's mother-in-law who was sick with a fever one occasion. And we'll turn back this way and show you again the 5th century synagogue built on the foundation of the 1st century. Would have had 2 stories, one story for the women to sit upstairs, the men would then sit downstairs, and then someone would sit in the galleries along the edges of the synagogue.
Oh.
We're now in the adjoining room outside the synagogue we've just come from.
Millstone around the neck.
Very hard seed. So by that they crush it. So that's the first stage, to crush the seed. Then we'll have mixture of skin and crushed seed. After that, they brought all that mixture and they put it in very flexible baskets. Cylinders baskets, flexible one, and they pile about 100, let's say, 100 baskets over there in front of that pillar. It reached this high.
a white building here, so the Jordan River is dammed up. So the baptism took place over here. Bill? Is it cold or warm?
Go on.
Hi, Vicky. Sorry, can't be here.
Good.
Good. Feels
Nice.
good.
First time down, had your feet washed all week.
Oh, no, it isn't. We didn't know it.
Come try it, Vicky.
Come on in, the water's warm.
Water's fine.
I like that.
That water feels a lot cooler than our feet have been in our shoes all day.
And then close up on your feet.
Yeah, I'm drying off.
I gotta remember, the Pepsi bottle has
Someone else trying it out.
I need my feet washed.
Yep, get your feet washed. Do it yourself job. How's the water?
Good. Well, I want to take a shower tonight, will I?
Don't have to.
There wasn't nothing on there.
You're at the Jordan River Hotel.
I don't know about that.
We're upstairs on the 5th floor. That's looking up. And here we are looking down from the 5th floor, place we just have come from. Whoa. Let's go back to room and get ready for dinner tonight.
Between Christianity and Islam. That had marked very bad point in the history of the two religions. This conflict, which was not needed from the beginning, as I said. Actually, the Crusaders, they came to release the Holy Land from the Muslims. This was their propaganda, but actually, the first people who were persecuted by the Crusader in their way here, the Jewish Holy War. It was a money war.
This is where Saladin defeated the Crusaders in 1099, July the 4th.
But the Crusader...
In the distance is the spot for the old city of Cana of Galilee, where Jesus did the first miracle.
Yeah, from Mashhad to the left. And Mashhad means Shahada, Yashhadu, Mashhad, the place to witness. That's the meaning of from these huge fields, very fertile land. In a time when the agriculture income was the major income, there should be a city here. This is the precondition. There is these fields, of course, very fertile land. You saw the valley of Natufa, so they have very good harvest here. And for that reason, they built their city close to these fields. And of course, there is many water springs in this area. They have water, and for that, the route of commerce. One of the most important routes of commerce, of trade, pass in this valley. We call it the Darb al-Hawarina. This road, which went in this valley, connected Talmayus, the harbor of Acre, which played very important role in the history of Europe.
Zephyrus. Beautiful view of the valley down below.
Yeah, I think if they can have a good idea how the theater of Caesarea of Beit Shan looked like before they started the. So the whole slope over there, that's the bedrock. It was covered with the stone. with the seats. Now all these seats actually restoration, and many, I can tell all these stones they cut it recently. It's not the same stones. Why? Because the local people through the history, they took this stone from here and they reuse it in their homes, which was built close to the
I'll be one of the gods.
Okay. Are you Poseidon or Aphrodite? Top of the hill of Zephyrus was this Crusader fortress, built probably in the 12th or maybe 13th century AD. Zephyrus means bird, top of the hill flying. Here's the fortress, and then off in the distance is Nazareth.
1 hour walking.
About 1 hour to walk over there.
Look, what's interesting, this always was a fortress here, but the one who built this fortress, it was the Crusaders, and they used, look, the reuse of the Roman stones. This is what we call it the flesh eater. This was flesh eater. The funny thing is most of this fortress is built as a reuse of this sarcophagus. The one who renovated after the Crusader, there was a Turkish governor. He was Arabs from. After Zahir Roma, during the British mandate, the upper part was used as a school. And
here in the Turkey, they reclined on couches, eating on cushions, nibbling fruit or delicate dishes washed down with plenty of wine. Here, the Jewish descendants of the old established aristocratic families mingled with the non-Jews and army officers. Relations between the two communities are generally good, based on mutual tolerance. The theater of Greek folk and Jewish culture, and they caution against, but the Jewish community does not necessarily read their warnings.
We're inside one of the wealthier homes at this point. Still quite colorful.
Yeah, it's clear that this house was the house of a rich man. We don't know, we didn't find any indication telling a chairman of the Sanhedrin, but the question, can you rabbi small stones? And by that you can reach you can give very accurate details for the face. Look at one seed, another sofa here or seed, another one over here. Of course, this room functioned for drinking wine or for guests, because it looked like carpet, very beautiful carpet, this thing. It was exit from this to another balcony, which it always was mentioned in the Talmud, only rich people, they had something. Oh, look over there.
This is the bathroom of the house.
Bathrooms, only rich.
Galilee. Intricate details. You can even see the earrings there, the lipstick on the face. How the house may have looked, artist rendering. We're outside a house now where there's still some major archaeological excavation taking place. And this is now looking back towards the house from whence we've come. The area here still under excavation is the open market area plus the street coming into the city. Off in the distance you can see the small village of Nazareth. Nazareth.
Yeah, Nazareth today is a city with 60,000 inhabitants, Arabs, Muslims, and Christian. They live on base that they are brothers. They coexistent very good in this city. Also with the Jewish city, it's called Nazareth Elite. The Jewish city had doubled its inhabitants within 6 years, from 20,000 to 40,000. Many Russian Jews came and they live in the new city. They call it Nazareth Elite.
Now we're in Nazareth going to church service. Place Everett Huffard used to work several years ago.
I hope you will always follow my example.
وانتم اللي عايشين هنا بتامل انه دائما يعني تمشوا بحسب المثل اللي هو بعضه.
Every time I come, I bring at least 20 friends.
كل مره بيجي مع الفريق 20 صديق.
And if you bring 20 friends every time, the church would grow.
واذا كل مره بتجيبوا 20 صديق الكنيسه بتكبر.
This is the courtyard now of the church building.
Good to see you. Nice to be here today.
Purple flowers in the tree over here. Some children from Nazareth. The Church of the Annunciation here in Nazareth.
Hold that. Father, church inside, Nazareth Elite. Temple, stand on that. Hold that on that.
The church, and like in many places, other places, like in Capernaum, many churches were built on the same site. The first Christian, they built a small synagogue. Then the Byzantine, they built a church. 4th century, 5th century, it was in the year 614, it was destroyed by the Persians. The Crusader rebuilt it during the 12th century, and the last church, which stands here today, it was built in the year 1960, it was finished in the year 1969. It's Franciscan church. The angel told Mary the good news. It is part of the old village of Nazareth. The cave itself, it was cut out, and the church was built on the top of that cave. Here you see the first synagogue. You see where the church, it made the synagogue, the first synagogue. And this was baptistry. Look over here, patisserie, the mosaic over there, they built the church, and you can see the from the side of the stone. Here it's big, over there it's small. So we have the things dating back to the first level, and things dating back to the 6th century. The church was destroyed in version 614, and we look at it.
This is the second floor of the Church of Annunciation. We've come from downstairs to upstairs now. Downstairs represents the poverty of Mary, and this represents what the church has done since then in the St. Franciscan church building.
Bethlehem, Egypt, then they came back here. So this is the house of the Holy Family, or Saint Joseph, or the carpentry of Saint Joseph. Now, that place is very well attested. It Grotto Ave Maria. Inscriptions say from the 2nd century, Ave Maria, Hail Mary. From the 2nd century there was church for Mary over there. And all these churches over there, and this is the only Nazareth. So that's place, very credible place, the Annunciation. Here is not. But this site was used by the first Christian, the fire and the Holy Spirit. The first Christian, they went literally according to the legal place. They used to baptize by the fire and water and the Holy Spirit. How the Holy Spirit descended on the person. Fire over there, first stage, burning the clothes of the person who wanted to accept Christianity, water, and the Holy Spirit. The first Christian, they were Jewish. They accepted Jesus as a Savior. What does that mean? That means the day off for them was Saturday, not Sunday. They continued to be circumcised. They continue to...
We're here in the Church of St. Joseph. This is a stained glass window showing the death of Joseph being surrounded by the adult Jesus and Mary. The wedding of Mary and Joseph, Joseph giving Mary the ring, someone's imagination. Early baptismal pool here in the Church of St. Joseph. The pit you saw earlier is where a person descends to remove their clothing, have it burned, and walk over here to be baptized. Leaving Nazareth now to go to a kibbutz in Jezreel Valley to have our lunch. Another shot of Nazareth built upon the hillside. We're coming down to Nazareth soon. Making this curve, backtracking on ourselves, and below is the Jezreel Valley. Looks quite fertile at this area here.
Like 3 tenants. The coastal part of the Via Maris with the middle of the country. And from here, the road continued to Damascus. And it was very close to the Sea of Galilee, to Capernaum, and from Capernaum to Damascus. So this is the way, the famous way, the Via Maris, the road of the sea. And Megiddo was situated on this road. This is one of the reasons why this city was rich city which flourished. No wonder that were more than 25 cities built on the top of the others. Besides, yeah, so this is the model for the Tell. You can see that the Tell is artificial hill, artificial mount. The Tell Aramaic word mean a high place. This is relatively higher income and the trade. Now the most important thing in this valley, the Tell can be any place, yeah? What make the specific place of the Tell, 2 towers and 6 rooms for guard. This is Israeli period. Second, casemate wall. 2 parallel wall, in the middle empty. It was used as dwelling place for the soldier. This is the advantage of this wall. They use it as a wall and as one in front of the palace. That was the palace of the governor. Stables. These things distinguish the Israeli period, and the most impressive thing is the water project over there. The problem here, the spring cannot be on the top of this mound. It's not. So the best way to study this Tell, at the end they decided to make that cut, and through the cut they can see the different civilization. They can learn from the different stratas of the different civilization. They were lucky here to discover that this cut exposed 17 structures of temples. So from this, after the Canaanite gate will enter the
One. Where's your camera?
Local stones for the walls, but the gate is more critical.
To make the structure flexible, maybe against the earthquake. So this is the Canaanite city before King Solomon, and now when we will be walking up to the King Solomon period, we'll walk up because King Solomon period is based into this period. Chambers. You can see the foundation of this gate. King Solomon Gate. The 6 chambers always distinguish King Solomon period, and also the Phoenician way of building. Also here you see the Phoenician way. One stone goes like this, header and structure. This is the Phoenician way. How they solve
2 casement walls.
Now they can tell. It's not difficult to know
Inner wall and outer wall here.
Trying to make their brick.
And down below are huge fields of sunflowers.
That was the hill right here, Hill of Moray. Mount Tabor is right over to the left. It's in the haze there. You saw that earlier. This is Nazareth up here. See the city up here on the hill that'd be hard to hide, it's up in the haze. That's Mount Tabor. Haifa is the Via Maris. Back, remember the below Florence and Bettine, we were near Galilee, up through Capernaum, straight on to Damascus. That's just
Hills of Samaria straight ahead.
What? Yeah, because mainly the Israeli buses wouldn't go through there. We're there, so we'll be going up, through it. It's only those little Jewish kids.
A large Canaanite altar, offering bulls and first fruits of the grain. Steps going up into it. 25 civilizations built on top of each other, various strata through here. But you see in the distance Mount Carmel, where Prophet Elijah had the contest against the prophets of Baal. Seen here from the top of Megiddo in the Jezreel Valley. here it is. Would have held a few morsels of grain, I think, in there. In front of the governor's house, which would have sat here.
So I think all the archaeologists' discoveries should prove what's mentioned in the Bible. It's clear you can order the donkeys, and these are not the stables of King Solomon. So he was right. He was right.
We'll never tell him.
These are the stables of King Ahab.
The other end now, they've got it pumped out. 1, 2, 3, counting sheet.
This is the shaft that Ahab had built to let in the water to the city.
Devin, y'all need to hurry before the group gets here.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Still in the shaft that Ahab cut through here. Lots of manpower was involved here.
You might want to get the other direction.
Entering on the west bank.
Do you have your passports with you?
No.
No need. Thank you.
He likes carrying us for some reason. Into the west bank. These here are some of the hills of Samaria, where the brothers of Joseph sold Joseph into slavery to the Midianites. The harvest season for the wheat. Here you can see some of the ground up wheat in those stacks over there. Pardon my bumping here.
Some of the white stacks down here. Bagged up.
Stopping here to buy some figs for some reason.
2 buckets in the back, look at that.
Here's a nice fig tree beside the house. We're in the city of Neapolis, a Samaritan village just along the border of Mount Gerizim. It's well, even today. This is a mount of cursing over here, and behind us is a mount of blessing.
Everybody put their hand in. It may not be good here in a little while after.
The Greek Orthodox Church overtopped Jacob's Well. It's still not finished. It's been here about 50 or 60 years. They plan to put a roof on it perhaps next year. It's still an open air Greek Orthodox church building. Here, the old city of Sychar near Mount Gerizim. This is Mount Gerizim, just outside the Greek Orthodox Church.
Many Philistines died. The Philistines, they thought that curse came on them, upon them, because they own something.
Off in the distance here, the mountains of Moab. Coming up on the right, here is the city of Jerusalem. Here's about 15 minutes time from here. On a clear day, they say you can see the Dead Sea from this spot here. Don't think we can see it today. Moab is across the Jordan Valley off this way here. Now on Monday morning, we're assembling for breakfast. It's a fine hotel here. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
I think we have bacon, eggs, and cinnamon rolls, and sausages, and all kinds of other things to whet the appetite. Out the window is the old city of Jerusalem. What a view out there. Just outside our restaurant window, here on the Mount of Olives. And we'll stop here and change film. I need to point out to you that shot we saw about 10 minutes back, we're picking up some figs by the side of the road. It was actually apricots, so let me correct that on the film before I forget. It was a fig tree, but next to that there were some little apricots. That's the new word on that. See you in the next roll. And what is your name?
Wyatt.
Okay. You're a very good person, works here.
Yes.
Works.
Yes, your name in here.
He brought my father several tea bags last night.
I got his name.
Have a good morning.
Good morning. And you, I hope you enjoyed.
Just finished breakfast, walking out here in the morning air. Notice all the tombs right outside the wall area here, going down to the brook Kidron Valley. Across Temple Mount here. This grade dome was where the original temple itself would have sat at one time. Moving to the north here, you see the Dome of the Rock, the Al-Muslim Mosque. This area here is the Golden Gate, the two closed-in. This building in the center here is where they think the Last Supper took place. They're in the upper room now. There's a church building built over top of it. And a bird just flew in front of the camera. And back this way here, we'll see the camels.
Where? Oh, there it is.
Someplace over here. There he is.